Stand ready for my arrival, worm.
Humans of all races and ages. Right off rip, we see that there are BBC-sized hands being thrown between our main hero and the villainous Viltrumite King Conquest himself. Shout out to everybody who covered this fight scene already, but who came up with that nickname? Because this is freaking outrageous. Also, I know I am kind of late to the whole Invincible versus Conquest party, and because of that, I just know the YouTube algorithm is going to spread my cheeks apart like there's some hot dog buns, but just remember to consider liking and subscribing if this video makes you laugh or smile at all. Anyway, let's get back to the action. Glenn and Negan, Mark and Conquesto, started off at a proper stalemate until King Conquest hits my blue and black suited goat with a demonic headbutt and slams him into the city streets down below with enough force that created a big ass crater in the middle of the road. He lets my guy Mark get a breather, and I shit you not, viewer, he then proceeds to give him one of the most heinous speeches I think I've ever heard from a fictional character. Ever. Oh my god, I wish I can play in double with a full speech for you guys, but I just know Amazon will try to catch me off the street, throw me in the back of a black sedan, toss a car on the side of the road, and watch it explode. I'd be cooked. Literally. So I'm just gonna summarize it. Essentially, Big Conquest tells Mark that at this point in the fight, a certain notorious Viltrumite woman who came to Earth and fought Mark before him would try to explain that he'd be stupid to resist the Empire, which is why he'll do no such thing. King Conquest then tells Mark that he wants him to resist. He's not here to do Mark or the Earth any favors. He only wants to swing on niggas. Conquest even admits that he derives pleasure from the feeling of his fists getting drenched in the blood of his enemies. Yeah, well, now I see why her name is King Conquest. I get it though, because this is absolutely demonic behavior, dog. My man gets a clean hit on Conquesto and flies into several buildings while not giving a fuck about collateral damage or potential casualties. But funnily enough, I don't think he did any damage to Conquest during this move because he recovered from this almost immediately afterwards, while Mark was still lost in the rubble. Mark used his own version of Double Edge like this is a Pokemon battle. Like, come on, man, get it together. Conquest yoinks Mark out of the rubble and tells him that he wants more, as if this is the ferocity he expects a Viltrumite to fight with. But Mark obliges by giving him more inches and hits his old ass with a clean combo. And while Conquest was oddly complimenting bro on landing a couple of fierce hits, Mark hits him with yet another string of combos and sends his strongest op yet into the vast emptiness of outer space by launching him through the freaking exosphere. Goodness gracious, dude! And I'm sure you know by now, but this fight is about to get wicked, bro. Just be aware. Conquest stares Mark down while they're in space, and this barbarian of a character starts cheesing at him and suddenly blows Mark a frozen blood bubble and shapes it into a heart? Huh? When I was watching this episode back on the day it aired, I was like, whoa, whoa, buddy, what the hell is this? Because this freaky little interaction was not in the comics, big dog. I swear to God. Even Mark was flabbergasted. He was like, huh? What the fuck? But as odd as this was, in a weird way, this was also kind of cool to see because it further fleshed out Conquest's twisted and distorted personality. I'm not going to go too in-depth about it here since this isn't that kind of video. I'll explain a little bit more later though. Don't you worry. But speaking of Conquest, he breaks the blood heart and oh my god. Wait. Pause the frame. Look at this fucking face. Nah, dog, that is the face of a real ass demon, bro. You can tell he loves his job. Mark, he is about to penetrate your shit. King Conquest dives into Mark while they plummet back into the atmosphere and are on each other's necks going hit for hit. They take a little breather, and unfortunately, Mark pulls a card straight out of Vegeta's book and starts getting cocky. He lets his guard down just to start talking shit to Conquest's face, but the big C said, nah, come get these inches. He speed blitzes Mark and scores a super effective critical hit, my boy, shattering his goggles and sending him careening through nearby buildings and streets. Oh my god. You see, kids, this is why we stay humble and low-key in the big 2025, because if you start getting overconfident like how did, then life will certainly humble you and leave a mark. Get it? Because his real name is Mark, and you know, that's like something you say when, you know, there's like residual damage or something. You know what? I should retire from doing this. Anyway, back to the main event. The show cuts to Mark's family and Paul, who low-key got that shit on, by the way. Shout out to him. And they're all watching him on live television getting folded like Mia Khalifa in her prime. He begins to recover from Conquest's attack from earlier when suddenly the animation team locked in and we see big Conquest fly in like an ICBM and levels an entire goddamn city by body slamming Mark. Oh my god, what? Conquest is literally a living weapon. Conquest must think he's Nappa or something, bro. What the fuck? Not gonna lie though, personally, I would love to see these two fight against each other. Death battle, you know what to do, man. Do a video and I will be seated. Conquest is doing mid-air combos on Mark and punches him through multiple skyscrapers and rooftops and crashes through a fuel truck that was conveniently parked in the middle of the road, just asking to get blown up in the middle of two superhuman freakazoids duking it out with one another. Crazy shit! But not as crazy as what happened next, because while the animation team locked in on Mark recovering from its explosive tumble, he raises his hand at Conquest and orders a timeout? Bro, what? Mark, are you insane? I guess finally realized he was fighting a real demon here and didn't want any more innocent people getting killed. But bro, even the Big C was confused by this and still gripped him up anyway. He pins Mark to the ground and starts yapping yet again. This time, King Conquest tells Mark that surrendering at this point is useless and that he's having a time of his life letting loose on Earth right now. Conquest then starts trying to encourage Mark and motivate him in his own weird, savage, and unique way to keep fighting just to get the grand battle he's been craving for his entire life, by telling him that he's going to KILL everyone else on Earth after he's done turning into a Viltrumite-sized blunt.
New op pack in the air, this gas or what? He'll still be alive right now if you niggas ain't gas him up.
Suddenly, Oliver comes through and slides for his older brother by sending Conquest's old ass flying. And King Conquest proceeds to bounce Oliver on the concrete like a basketball. What? This is a crazy violation, man. I cannot lie. The Big C threatens to dismember a child, but after Mark stepped in and rescued Oliver by sending Conquest flying, he proceeds to slow walk towards the two like he's the booty warrior or something. I mean, just look at him. Mark pushes Oliver aside just as the Big C runs through multiple buildings while talking a diabolical amount of shit at the same time, saying stuff like he won't believe Mark has the heart of a Viltrumite until he sees it beating in his own hands. Okay, dog, we get it. I'm getting sick. That's enough. I'm done talking about Conquest, y'all. I'm done. The video is over. Have a good night. I'm done. I'm out of here. Damn. I can't just end the video like this. The fight isn't even over yet. Mark hits King Conquest with a sinister headbutt and starts trying to get his old ass to deep throat his fists. He said, like and subscribe. But Conquest gets back up and he tells Mark that this just ain't gonna cut it, man. He's cooked. Fuck. At this point, the show cuts to other characters' perspectives on a fight, including Cecil, aka Sea Salt, and Adam Eve. But we go back to the main event, and Conquest admits to that this isn't even the worst he can do. He's not even locked in. He says this to him as he's tossing Mark around the city like a Viltrumite-sized chew toy. Conquest launches Mark into a bus and stops for a second, all so he can go on a speech telling him that his father is dead and that he wishes he can see the look on his face after he tells him that he killed his son. God damn, dude, what the fuck? Oliver slides for Mark yet again, and Conquest casually tells a child that he's thankful for him coming back to Mark's defense, and that he's gonna split him in half and eat his heart afterwards. Typical Viltrumite things, I guess. I don't know. Conquest being on murderous Diddy timing was not on my bingo card while watching this episode, man. I cannot lie. That is insane. The Big C starts ore farming mid-fight and backhands into nearby buildings and low diffs Oliver right afterwards. Conquest then proceeds to be a man of his word and lifts Oliver above his head and starts trying to divide a child by two while breaking it all down scientifically at the same time. I am absolutely censoring this for YouTube because I am not trying to get my channel euthanized for showing someone trying to William Afton the kid, cartoon or not, but the fact that his torture sequence dragged on for as long as it did is diabolical. Like, bro, this scene went on for as long as the time it takes for me to get videos out here on his channel. You guys do know I have a second channel though, right? Thankfully though, rushes in to save his brother from getting ripped in half like a sheet of homework. And at this point, Conquest and Mark started going blow for blow. Okay, that one didn't sound right at all. Oh my god. The screen cuts back to Cecil and Eve, and they're busy trying to figure out what to do at this point in time as Mark is getting his ass tossed by a veteran Viltrumite. And we go back to see Conquest gripping up Mark as they're speeding towards a nearby city. The Big C tells that he doesn't want him to miss this, and proceeds to create one of the most brutal scenes of terrorism in a fictional show that I have ever seen in my goddamn life. Conquest drags Mark through the city while flying at Mach speeds, and they ripped everybody and everything to shreds. Some of my OG viewers might know that I did a string of videos talking about Omni-Man, with the last one covering his fight with his son. Well, somehow in a matter of like 10 to 15 seconds, Conquest figured out a way to little bro Omni-Man's train scene and just casually slaughtered 100, if not 1,000 more civilians like cattle, dude. What the fuck? The two fly upwards to the sky when minked Conquest in the face, but suddenly his old ass flew into a wall of pink energy, shattering it. That's right, Adam Eve has officially joined the fight. Although Mark was understandably saddened that another one of the closest people in his life got involved in this fight, especially knowing how dangerous and brutal his opponent is, but Conquest on the other hand, he was ecstatic to get his crusty hands on another victim. He tries to speed blitz Eve, but Mark flies in to push Conquest away and tells her to run. However, as he's doing this, the Big C breaks free of Mark's grasp and breaks what looks to be his femur, exposing the bone as it ripped through his skin. Oh my god, fuck, that's rough. Eve and Conquest get ready to go at it while Mark watches in agony, and this freakazoid of a Viltrumite notices that Eve isn't physically doing so well and states that she has problems of her own while calling her a kitten. Bro, what are we doing here? Eve begins suiting up like a Megazord from Power Rangers, and the two began duking it out. She starts off by increasing the density of the air as Conquest was well on his way to blitz her. And for the next few minutes, we see a montage of Eve trying her best against, Conquest. As pretty as this sequence was, I'm kind of gonna, gloss over it here because, well, let's be honest. Eve cooked in the spectacle department, but she didn't do any real damage to Conquest at all. Man, his physical and special defensive stats were far too high. That, paired with his superhuman amount of stamina, led to the Big C getting the upper hand. Which means, my dear viewer, that it's about to get gory in here. Be warned. He shatters Eve's battlesuit bit by bit, knocks her jawbone off, and disembowels her with one of the deadliest jabs I think I have ever seen. Damn. Well, first Oliver got rolled and smoked. Oh yeah, he got rescued by Cecil, by the way. And next in line was Eve. That means now Mark is our only hope, and that boy is about to lock the fuck in. He comforts Eve while she lays dying in his arms and begins to call Cecil for help. But while he's doing this, we see King Conquest floating in the background, licking Eve's blood off of his hands while stating that this emotional attachment that is showing to these people is a weakness. Yeah, haha. You might have just signed your death warrant with this one, Conquest. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is a yikes. Mark is seething with rage, and as Diddy Quest thanks him for allowing him to cause mass chaos on Earth, responds by telling him,
I can see the future. You don't live to see tomorrow.
Like, oh my god! The two rush each other for one final power clash, and Mark breaks Conquest's metal gauntlet at the cost of breaking his own hand. As Conquest stares at the metallic limb he just lost, the main man starts doing strings in midair despite breaking half of his limbs. The Big C grabs Mark and tells him that just because he's angry doesn't make him stronger. But Invincible quickly retaliates by taking a page out of all the zombies in Raccoon City's books and bites a meaty chunk out of Conquest's shoulder. Oh my god. Okay, time out. Yeah, this shit is getting intense, but I love it. This is gratuitous violence at its finest. Peak cinema, bro. Peak cinema. As Mark and Conquest continue going hit for hit, Adam Eve's powers override her mental blocks and she essentially uses her super and pops a self-res like she was a Sunsinger Warlock main back in Destiny 1. Bungie, please bring it back. Mark starts unloading the metaphorical clips into Conquest's face, but he gets distracted seeing Eve resurrect herself. Unfortunately though, Conquest is an opportunistic bastard and uses this moment to violate Mark's spinal cord and pins him on the ground. And here is when Conquest leans into Mark's ear and admits to him that he's an old, lonely bitch speech. Yeah, it's time to talk about that speech. All of the other Viltrumites are scared of Conquest, since he is only used for one purpose. As I said way earlier in the video, Conquest is a weapon. He even says he's only used to commit atrocities for other Viltrumites, and he's gotten so good at doing it that they all fear him. Aside from one, if you read the comics then you know who this Viltrumite is. Conquest laments the fact that, well, he doesn't even get a real name. He's essentially labeled after the thing he's the best at doing. He doesn't have any friends or any family as far as we know. He even says he's capable of being so much more than what he is, but nobody sees it. He could cry, but he doesn't, because nobody would care. He then finishes this speech off by telling Mark,
Take it to your grave.
and starts choking the life out of him. But in a way, it was a good thing that King Conquest stopped fighting for like 2 minutes to give a speech, because this fumble gave Eve enough time to gather her energy and saved by using her
Maximum pulse!
She deep-fried Conquest like he was a shitty meme from the mid-2010s and promptly passed out since she expended all of her energy. And so did Conquest. He's dead. Nah, I'm kidding. He got right back up like it was nothing. My god. People really be looking at this series and says this shit isn't fire. Like, what are you talking about, bro? You're smoking dick. King Conquest threatens to smoke Eve like some marijuana for a second time, but moves in to defend his fine shit and gives Conquest all that he's got. But the old geezer catches Mark's other fist and breaks it, and we zoom out to see him screaming in agony. And this is it, the final moments of this monumental clash. After Conquest broke Mark's other hand, he says that he has more than enough fight to take him out for good, but stands on business and replies with,
Not enough. Not nearly.
and deals the decisive blow by beginning to headbutt the big seat of death while talking shit. Mark demands Conquest to answer if he's having fun, and despite looking like he snuck on Earth, Conquest replies with,
I think the good with the bad.
and Mark finishes the fight by continuing to turn Conquest's skull into mashed potatoes. And that right there is the end of this crazy boss fight, man. Mark reunites with Eve, and everybody who fought on this day, including Oliver, recovers. You know, even though it seemed like Conquest was putting belt to ass on Mark this entire fight, strength alone isn't what kept Mark going. Despite suffering numerous broken bones and other injuries, his sheer determination and willpower to keep getting up and continue fighting against impossible odds for the ones he loves is what truly makes him Hey, alright. If you made it this far, then thank you for watching this video. Like I said, I know I'm late to the party and the YouTube algorithm has been cooking me lately, but it is what it is at this point. Hopefully though, you still enjoyed. Consider leaving a like and subscribing if this video made you laugh or smile at all, or don't, it's up to you. But hopefully, I'll catch you in the next one. I love you guys, stay tuned, stay safe, stay hydrated. I got a video coming out very soon, by the way, I want to tap into that. And yeah, peace out.